never driven through New Mexico, this is pretty much what it looks like. When you're not in the desert, I'm actually heading east right now. I don't remember what the name of the road is. It's the one that parks out from Roswell, New Mexico towards Dallas, Texas. It seems we've left the desert side, and now we're in the plain side. And literally, there's nothing but fields like this for miles and miles and miles. It's been like this for the last, I think, 30 minutes or so. There's just nothing there. Just fields and fields and fields. I think it's for cattle. To graze on. I managed to make it out of New Mexico. And as you can see, the scenery has changed as we enter into Texas. Just hit Terry County line. And they got farmland here. Texas. There's still plains. We're on the western side of Texas, heading towards Abilene and then Dallas-Fort Worth soon. I think that's where we're gonna stay for tonight if we can make it to Fort Worth, Texas. I actually lived there when I was a kid at Carswell Air Force Base. I didn't live on the base. I lived in Fort Worth. My dad was stationed in Carswell. But it's interesting that once we crossed over from New Mexico, the land kind of changed pretty rapidly from this just endless stretch of plains to what we see now, which is, well, more plains, but farms, and it's a bit more green, and the dirt is kind of a reddish dirt, not that color that we saw out in the desert of New Mexico. So Texas was somewhat similar. I didn't get any on film here or on video, but hopefully some more will come up, and I'm sure they will. There was a whole bunch of oil rigs, drilling rigs. I don't know if they're drilling rigs or pumps. But if another one comes up, I'll try to get it on video for you guys if you haven't seen one before. For those who have never been to Texas, I thought I would share with you what the Texas farms or fields look like here. At least on the western edges of Texas, you know. We are currently heading towards Abilene, and from there we're going to be heading over to Dallas, Fort Worth area, where we're going to spend the night. But this is what the fields look like. Certainly doesn't look like we're in the desert anymore. It's kind of weird because, you know, just earlier, even as a matter of fact yesterday, we're driving through mountains with cliffs, and now it's like flat. Not just flat, it's flat farmland. It's so weird. It's hot and dry in Texas, but it's not desert. At least not this part of it. You can see the towns. I don't know if you can see the signs there for those of you who want to Google it and see where we're at exactly. We're on East 380. Speed limit here in Texas, 75 miles per hour. Gasoline prices, I saw between $2.45 to, I think, $2.59. So lower than Florida. A little bit lower, about the same or lower. I don't know what these trees are here that they're growing. I know Texas has acorns. At least Fort Worth, Texas did. I had a lot of acorns over there. Now, sadly, I don't see any more of the oil pumps. They had like all those oil pumps earlier, and I didn't get the camera out. I'm hoping that they have some more. They should have more coming up, but after all, we're heading towards Dallas, you know. And Texas has a lot of oil, which is probably why the price is lower. It feels good to be out of the desert, although I'm starting to get a little bit bummed out and sad because reality has set that I'm going to have to deal with this broken glass from the rental got to get back into the groove of basically life. So the magic of the honeymoon is nearing its end. So kind of a sad moment. But on the positive side, the honeymoon was awesome. We saw so much, we did so much, and most of what we did was free. The most expensive part of everything was the travel. You know, just being able to travel out there. You can see the mileage here. We're currently at 4,856 miles. And really, you add another 40 to 50 miles onto that because, you know, I didn't start the trip counter for about 40, 50 miles. But we're just shy of 5,000 miles so far in hitting Texas. We still got to get ahead from Texas out all the way down to Florida, to the East Coast. So still quite a ways to go. I think about 1,600 miles we got to travel. But when you look at the fact that we've already gone close to 5,000 miles, 1,600 miles seems like nothing. I'm hoping to do it in about 2-3 days. Well, 2.5 days, because today we're gonna spend the night in Dallas, then planning on making the trip to Florida in 2 more days. And that will be the conclusion of this trip for my wife and I. Sort of a honeymoon vacation trip that took us all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. And we experienced everything from swamps to the Smoky Mountains and the hills there, out to Colorado and the snow. We actually experienced a snowstorm while we were out there. Then into the desert where it was scorching. Well, it wasn't scorching hot because it's still spring, but it was hot. Not hot, but it got into the high 70s and 80s. I don't know if it got to the 80s. High 70s. So it was interesting, but it was dry. Hey, some cows. Anyhow, we went all the way out to California, where we experienced Venice Beach and Muscle Beach in particular. I've never been there. I mean, I've been to California, but I haven't been to Venice Beach before, so that was a nice experience. And came all the way back and went through New Mexico. We also stopped at Hoover Dam, which was cool because I got to see the sky bridge thing that they built, you know, the overpass that they put in, so you could go over it instead of going over Hoover Dam to cross between Arizona and Nevada. And that was really cool. It had a really nice view, and you could actually go on, you know, the overpass and walk out and take a picture of the dam from that distance. You know, from looking down, that was just an awesome view. And then from there, we headed out towards home, which meant going to New Mexico. And we didn't really do much in New Mexico, but we did get to. We drove by petrified forest because I didn't want to take the deviation. But we did get some petrified wood from one of the local not street vendors, one of the little souvenir shops. And that was cool. I also failed to mention that we did stop by the Grand Canyon, which was spectacular. And in Utah, we also went to, what's that place? Arches National Park. It was a very, very big trip. Coming home, we're kind of rushing home. We're not, I mean, when I say rushing, I'm not really rushing. I'm doing 75, which is the speed limit here on this road in Texas. I'm not speeding or anything. But we're not really planning any major stops. Any stops that we're making, including like Roswell. Roswell was a deviation. I decided to deviate to Roswell because I knew that driving on 40, I would go insane. And even the route to get to Roswell on 60 was driving me insane. It was just nothing. You're driving through fields of fields. And Texas is kind of the same, but at least the scenery looks different. It's not just empty fields. You got some that are empty fields that they just plowed, some that are growing things that are green, and some that haven't been plowed and look kind of like desert. So it's not much variety compared to, you know, like driving through a city of Florida or something like that. But Florida, you just get the forest or the woods on each side, you know, of I-95 or I-75 or I-4 or whatever you're driving on. It looks, I mean, it doesn't look like this, but it's also pretty boring. I think Texas has pretty interesting scenery. We're approximately 5 hours out of Dallas, so it's going to be a little bit under 5 hours. Oh, horses. Look at this. Horses out here in the little field out there, almost like the desert. So, quite a long ride. Not going to get in until about 10 p.m. Not going to be able to do much other than just sleep tonight and head out again early in the morning. We are, like I said, more than 1,600 miles away from home. So, gonna be a long haul for the next 2 days. Not counting today, which is also a long haul. I've got more than 300 miles to go before we hit Dallas. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you found these videos entertaining, if not informative. I'm hoping that those of you who are planning some of these trips to these areas get a chance to kind of preview what's there and what you can expect, sort of, although certain places change very rapidly. Even our visit to Roswell was interesting because it was different than it was last time I was there. Well, thank you all again for tuning in. Until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Stay safe. Take care.